Alright, so here we are again. Dylan. The cameraman today is Dylan. Last time it was Samuel over here, so I showed Dylan how my dowsers operate. Dowsers, I was telling last time that we were filming, if you get those political signs in your yard, this is what they're good for. And like I told Dylan, not everybody can do this, because if you don't have two hands, you can't do this. So, but everybody else can do it, because all you got to do is just cut 6 inches here, 18 inches here. And I saw another one on some show I was looking at not long ago, and they had one here that had like a brass rod around it, and it was about 6 inches here, and that brass rod made it flow real easy also. And they were actually hunting for gold. When they got close to it, the gold, it would start spinning. I'm gonna make me some of them too. I doubt I'll find some gold. Anybody watching?
There's one person. Melissa.
Okay. Melissa's watching. Alright. This is the way the dowsers work. So you kind of hold it real loose in your hands. Can you see me there?
Yeah.
Okay. Kind of hold it real loose in your hands, and you just kind of put your knuckles together like that, and you don't have to hold it real tight, but you're going to hold it just like this. When I walk across a grave that has no stone out here, I'll show you one with a stone also, but when I walk across one of these graves, there's 69 in this area right here, and of the total graveyard over in this area right here, back all in here, plus right here, about 103 total. You can kind of see some of the impressions, like this one right here on the ground here. I'm going to show you now what dowsers, can you see me?
Yeah.
Okay, can you get a little closer? All right, can you see the grave?
Yeah.
Can you see the dowsers?
Yes.
You can see it. All right. That's my cameraman. I'm talking to my cameraman. All right, so dowsers, when I walk across that grave, they're going to spread apart. See how they spread apart? Now, if I come in from the bottom side of the grave or the top side of the grave, I'll find the other end of it this way. There's the end of the grave, about the edge of it. We're going to find another edge, bottom part, top part, right here. This is an African American cemetery from, 1838. That guy over there was born. There's so many out here that, and I know there's older ones that's listed on the cemetery page itself. I photographed about 70% of these graves myself and put them on Find a Grave to categorize and say, hey, this is, where these stones are. This is Rutland, Silver Springs, in Wilson County, Tennessee. And let me show you a grave up here that's an older one. So walk this way, cameraman. Hey, before we go up that way, I'm going to show you one that's actually buried right here in the road where they drive down in the cemetery. I'm going to show you one that's buried right here. So you got one right here. I'm going to come that way, and I'm going to go across it and show you. They're buried right here. Now, if you don't believe me that these do or don't work, watch this. Now, I'm not doing this, okay? So the cameraman, just keep up with me. I'm gonna walk. No grave. No grave. Keep walking, cameraman. No grave. No grave. Now, watch me walk towards this grave over here. Ah, wait a minute. Right here on the side of this road right here, we got another grave right in this area right here. This tombstone. This one is, let me see if I can get over here and read it. Maxie L. Thompson. Doesn't have a death date on it, but was born in 1880. Over on this side is Charles D. Thompson. You can get a good picture of this one if you want to come over here and zoom in on it, or just come over on this side where the sunlight will shine on it. Come over on this side.
Over here?
Charles D. Thompson, born February the 17th, 1875, and died March 15th, looks like 1918 maybe, something like that. All right, so cameraman, let me show you where they're buried at.
Back up a little bit.
So you got stone with a name over there, stone with same stone with a name over here. So let's see where they're actually buried at. So you got one over here, starts right in here by this old tree right here. And I'm gonna get just a little farther. And this is where we ran across the one that was buried right here on the side with no marker. And I'm gonna come in towards the cameraman here just a little bit and show you there's somebody buried right here also. And let me come from this side. All right, I'm gonna come at an angle and show you, because if you go at an angle towards an underground spring or a grave, whatever, and it doesn't matter if it's 200 years ago, if that dirt, that original dirt has been dug up underneath there 200 years ago, 300 years ago, dowsers or ground penetrating radar is going to find where that's been disturbed, and then something is down there, or if you have an underground spring or whatever. I found springs with these over my dad's house back in Arkansas way back in the 80s. It's not these same ones, I had some different ones. But let me show you at an angle coming across here. One's going to spread, but the other's going to stay straight. So that means I just walked to the edge of whatever is here. I'm going to back up just a little bit more, cameraman. I'm going to walk again to the edge of it here. And see how it did there? Did you see that? Now, I'm going to come over on this side. Over on this side of me. And I'm going to show you from this end of the Thompson's grave where the end of that grave is. Right here. So we got typical grave, 6-7 foot, you know, in this area right here. So you got somebody buried here, but probably of these Thompsons, somebody else is buried right here that may be even kin to them. This is an impression right here. Let's see if somebody's actually buried there. Yeah, got a hole there that's probably somebody buried. Let's check it this end. Yep, somebody's buried right here also. Anybody watching now?
We got Linda and Maria.
Okay. I got my Make America Gump Again cap on. Gump, Forrest Gump. Alright, so let's walk back over this way. Here's Willie Jackson. Died in 1937. Some of these graves I had to clean them up. And let's find, let me show you the oldest one out here. I was telling Dylan just a minute ago, this is the oldest one that actually has a stone. His name was John Davis, and you can probably get a picture of that right there. John Davis, born May 27th, 1838, died December the 11th, 1913. Over on the other side is his wife. Now I'm going to show you, that's the stone. So back up just a little bit there, cameraman. There we go. I'm going to show you, if you come across here, you don't see the grave for that. These are kids of the Davises there. So we got 4 kids here and then one up here that actually lived the longest. This one is Peyton Hill Davis. She was born like 1870, I think, or 1880. Some of these stones are so bad you can't tell. Died in 1888. That one right there is Lena Davis. She died sometime around 1890 something. It's then broke off there, and then born 1879. I think I found her ancestry when I actually did a family tree for these folks. This is Mary Ellen, another Davis, 1871, 1894. And this is Joe Davis. Now, you can tell 1885 to 1894. All three of these kids died pretty quick. They didn't live very long. And why they died so early, I don't know. What happened that they didn't live very long, you know, as young kids, I couldn't tell you what to do. If you look at the guy's stone, Mr. Davis, you can tell it's a regular marker. Now if you look at the other stones, you can tell they don't look like a regular, a little slower. You can tell that they don't look like regular stones. This guy, Mr. Davis, became a concrete worker over in Nashville, Tennessee. And those actually look like they're made out of concrete instead of like a regular stone like you would buy, you know, if you were to die, your family would buy for you and set up on your grave there. This daughter up here is Eliza John Davis. She died in 1930, I think it is. She was born 1888, I believe that is. She was the only one, I think there was one more that lived out of this family that lived to adulthood of the kids. So I'm going to show you, we got some sunlight here, so I'm going to show you right in this area right here. So we got somebody that's buried right here. You can kind of tell the impression. But right here beside Alex Jackson. Some of his family, I don't know. And over on this side of Alex Jackson. You won't see him until you get right there, and you see he's buried right here. So Alex, I'm not sure. His wife, a child, who knows? I'm not sure. Is buried right here beside him that never had a marker put up here. He died in 1917. He was born in 1880 something. I can't tell the I can't tell. May the 3rd, 1885. That's the kind of the gist of using dowsers to find. But over in this area, watch, you'll see me find another one right here. There's one right here. So I came at an angle. Come over on this side. I came at an angle to this grave right here. So Dylan's standing on one right there too. You can see this kind of a lower impression right here. So, you know, 1917, over 100 years ago, got a stone. Who knows? You know, 150 years ago, there was a lot of, in this graveyard, a lot of, I did research on ancestry on a lot of them because they didn't, you know, like the Davises there, one of the kids there, they had her dying, or they had her marrying at an older age, but that turned out to be somebody else and not that daughter that actually died, because you got proof of the stone right there. People assume too much on family trees sometimes. Oh, well, that looks like it's the same person, but it's not the same person. Especially when you can find it in the graveyard like this, and you see that there's actually the child right there that died. And I was telling Dylan a minute ago that back in in our family tree that I was doing the other day, I don't remember which side of the family it's on, but in 1890 there were 3 kids that died of these parents. One died on the 17th, one died on the 18th, and one died on the 25th. So in 1890, who knows what that was? So how they died, I don't know. Couldn't have been probably Indians, but because I doubt they would have been killing people in 1890. Could have been, but probably not. Could it have been, you know, fire? They died in a house fire or something like that, or died in, who knows? There's no record to tell me, you know, how they died. And you find a lot of deaths like 1918, stuff like that. You start seeing patterns of people in areas because of like flu epidemic. So the flu killed a lot of folks. I think it was 1918, I believe that's when that was. There's just a lot of people that died. So the 3 in 1890 or these others, why they died so young as kids within just 2 to 3 years of each other, I don't know. Kind of hard to say. But a lot of these people were mulatto, and people that don't know what mulatto is, so you got a mixed race type person. So you may have part African American, and a lot of these out here, like Davises over here, were born into slavery. So they were slaves, and then weren't slaves. So they may have had the mixed race. The mulatto is what that is. So the white men or white women sometimes would mix with the African American, and that's how you produced mulatto. And you find that on your census records. Whenever you are searching, you'll see that it says mulatto. And that's another reason that I found some of these others, because they are listed a certain way in the census, and then you find in another census, if you find the pattern of what they are, like mulatto, you can say, oh yeah, well, Mr. Jackson here, this is not the same Jackson that he was born from in slavery in 1855. So the people that owned him may have been Jackson also, and he may have been named after, and just like the Davises, they may have been named after the people that owned them. But that's where your censuses take over, and you keep people straight that way, and show how they're related and where they actually came from and who they're related to. Elijah John Davis over there is one of the kids that lived to an older age. Alright, so this one, I really can't tell you what this stone is. I have not attempted to raise it up or anything. I don't know for sure, but it is somebody's stone, and I have not attempted to actually raise it up and see who his name is on the other side or whatever. It's really, I can't tell. You can get a little closer there, Dylan, maybe. I can't tell even if it's actually got somebody's information there. I don't think so. I think it's over on the bottom side actually, and who knows. So I haven't disturbed that. Alright, so everybody enjoying it? We're out in the woods. We're looking for gold. We didn't find any gold, so we left the woods, came to the graveyard. We found people. They're still people, right? They may be dead, but they're people. And back over here, it's where I found the bones that actually look like human bones. And back over here where they had actually dug a grave underneath that, see that big tall tree right there? That's a persimmon tree. People don't know what persimmon is. Well, that's a persimmon tree right there. All right, so who's watching? Nobody's watching now.